Listen up, freedom-loving patriots. If you spend enough time breathing in burnt powder and brass on the firing line, you start noticing trends. For decades, my daily driver has been a trusty 9mm. It has been the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world for civilian carry, law enforcement, and military sidearms. But as we push deep into 2025, the ballistic landscape is undergoing a massive tectonic shift. We are looking at specialized, purpose-built cartridges that are aggressively challenging the old standard. Today we are going deep into the ballistics lab to dissect exactly what is replacing the old king in the holsters of serious operators. Grab your iPro, lock and load, and let us get down to business. Let us establish a baseline before we start throwing lead downrange. Why did the 9mm completely monopolize the market in the first place? It came down to a perfect storm of logistics, cost efficiency, and terminal ballistics. When the FBI famously transitioned away from the .40 Smith & Wesson, they realized something critical. Modern hollow point technology had evolved significantly. A properly bonded 9mm could punch through heavy clothing and consistently achieve the necessary 12 to 18 inches of penetration in ordnance gelatin. And it did all of that while giving you higher magazine capacity and dramatically less felt recoil. That single data point changed the industry overnight. Suddenly, everyone from local patrol officers to everyday concealed carriers made the switch. The introduction of high-capacity micro-compacts like the SIG P365 just cemented that dominance. You could comfortably conceal a dozen rounds of reliable defensive ammunition in a package the size of a standard wallet. The math was simply undeniable. But here is the reality of the 20X era. Shooters are no longer satisfied with a jack-of-all-trades cartridge. They want hyper-specialized ballistics tailored for highly specific tactical environments. Let us look at the heavy hitters making waves right now. First up on the bench is the ultimate space-saving solution, the .30 Super Carry. When Federal Premium dropped this cartridge, a lot of armchair experts dismissed it as a passing gimmick. They were dead wrong. This round was engineered from the ground up to solve the capacity versus footprint dilemma for everyday carry. Let me paint a picture for you. You are launching a 100-grain HST hollow point at roughly 1,250 feet per second. When you test this in ballistic gel, the permanent wound channel and expansion are virtually indistinguishable from a standard 9mm defense load. But the tactical advantage happens inside the magazine well. Because of the reduced case diameter, a gun like the Shield Plus can now cram 13+1 rounds into a grip module that previously only held 10. On the shot timer, the split times are noticeably faster. The recoil impulse feels completely different, allowing your red dot to track straight up and down without violently snapping the muzzle. Yes, you are dropping about $35 for a box of premium defensive loads. But you are getting top-tier nickel-plated brass, perfectly sealed primers, and incredibly clean-burning propellant. Even out of a short 3.1-inch barrel, the hollow point cavities expand reliably every single time. For appendix carriers who absolutely refuse to compromise on round count, this is a massive operational advantage. Next, we are stepping into the hypervelocity realm with the 5.7 by 28mm. This bottleneck cartridge was originally bred for military armor penetration, and it completely rewrites the rules of pistol engagement distances. When I run an FN 5.7 or a PSA Rock, the shooting experience is mind-blowing. You are sending a tiny 40-grain projectile down a 5-inch barrel at a blistering 2,300 feet per second. I am talking about a laser beam trajectory that defies typical pistol physics. If you zero your pistol optic at 25 yards, you can hold dead center on a steel silhouette at 75 yards and hear that beautiful metallic ping every single time. Gravity barely has time to affect the bullet. Furthermore, the bottleneck casing guarantees a feeding reliability that straight-walled pistol cartridges can only dream of. You can easily stuff 20 to 23 rounds into a flush-fit double-stack magazine without worrying about nosedives. Luger also stepped into this arena with an incredibly solid hammer-driven fire control system and an anodized aluminum slide. The recoil is incredibly soft, feeling closer to a .22 long rifle than a centerfire combat pistol. Defensive loads like the Speer Gold Dot or Elite Defender will run you anywhere from $38 to $50. But if your mission profile demands surgical precision at extended ranges with zero muzzle climb, this is your primary weapon system. Now, let us completely switch gears and talk about raw, unadulterated kinetic energy. I am talking about the mighty 10mm auto. When you rack the slide on a Springfield XDM Elite chambered in this absolute hand cannon, the sheer heft tells you everything you need to know. This is not for ringing steel at the local indoor range. This is apex predator defense. Imagine sending a 200-grain Underwood XTP bullet out of the muzzle at 1,250 feet per second. You are generating roughly 700 foot-pounds of crushing muzzle energy. That completely eclipses the legendary .357 Magnum, but you are getting it in a modern semi-automatic platform that holds 16 rounds. The XDM Elite OSP comes from the factory with a 5.25-inch match-grade hammer-forged barrel. It is completely optic-ready and features a rock-solid melanite-finished forged steel slide to handle the insane chamber pressures. The aggressive grip texture keeps the gun anchored in your hands without tearing up your skin. You will pay between $30 and $45 for premium defensive ammunition. But when you are hiking deep in backcountry bear territory, or you need a reliable truck gun that can shatter heavy barriers, the 10mm auto is the undisputed heavyweight champion. Speaking of barriers, let us look at a cartridge designed specifically to defeat them, the .357 SIG. I remember the first time I tested this round against a wrecked vehicle door at an outdoor range. The results were absolutely devastating. This is essentially a .40 Smith & Wesson casing, necked down to accept a 9mm projectile. When you load a 125-grain Spear Gold Dot, you are pushing 1,400 feet per second. This is far beyond standard 9mm plus P territory. This cartridge was engineered from the ground up for highway patrolmen who needed a bullet that could punch right through auto glass and maintain its structural integrity. The SIG P229 is the absolute perfect host for this round. It utilizes a heavy stainless steel slide milled directly from bar stock and a reinforced alloy frame to soak up that snappy recoil impulse. The locking lugs are massively overbuilt compared to standard 9mm variants. It shoots incredibly flat out past 50 yards and hits like a freight train. You do not carry this caliber to show off at the gun club. It is a highly specialized tool for operators who demand uncompromising barrier-blind performance. Finally, we have to talk about the absolute flamethrower of the group, the .22 TCM. If you want to clear out an indoor range and get everyone staring at your bay, load up a Rock Island Armory 1911 with this cartridge. The concussive shockwave and blinding muzzle flash are genuinely intimidating. But this is not just an auditory flashbang designed for fun. The .22 TCM uses a shortened .223 Remington casing to launch a 40-grain bullet at an astonishing 2,000 feet per second from a 5-inch barrel. You are getting rifle-like velocities out of a standard sidearm footprint. It will chew right through hard barriers and heavy clothing with brutal efficiency. Yet the felt recoil is shockingly mild, allowing for incredibly fast follow-up shots on target. Rock Island built their standard FS model with a Parkerized steel frame and a tuned, delayed blowback system specifically for this unique pressure curve. It comes equipped with a skeletonized trigger, a fiber optic front sight, and magazines holding anywhere from 10 to 17 rounds. Best of all, you can swap in a 9mm barrel and recoil spring in a matter of seconds for cheaper training. Armscore manufactures most of the ammo, running about $25 to $35 for a box of 50. It gives you the blistering speed of a tuned race gun with the armor-defeating capability of a tactical carbine. The writing is on the wall, my friends. The 9mm is not disappearing from our holsters anytime soon, but its days of having an absolute monopoly are officially over. The firearms industry in 2025 is all about tailoring your weapon system to your specific tactical reality. Whether you need the barrier-blind penetration of the .357 SIG, the backcountry stopping power of the 10mm auto, or the hypercapacity of the .30 Super Carry, The market has finally provided us with reliable, rigorously tested alternatives. We are living in a golden age of ballistic technology, and limiting yourself to just one caliber is leaving capability on the table. If you found this tactical briefing valuable, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment down below and let me know exactly what caliber you are trusting your life to this year. Stay dangerous, stay vigilant, and keep running those dry fire drills.